Failure is a part of success,
Definitely.
for sure, because, you know, and it depends on how you react to failure. So if you fail at something, it doesn't work out perfectly and you just give up, and giving up is not, pivoting and switching gears is not giving up. Figure out what it is you're passionate about, you know, figure out what it is you really like, figure out what it is
And
that
everybody
doesn't seem
say
like
that,
work.
but it's so true. You gotta do something you like to do. And if you think about it, all successful people speak the same stuff. And all of it's biblical, whether you want to make it the universe, laws of the universe, you want to say it's a secret, it's all biblical. You know what I'm saying? And that goes for relationships, that goes for money, that goes for business, or any aspect of your life.
I was afraid that if God gave me all these talents and I didn't utilize all of them, I was failing him. So I was like, you know what? I don't want, when my time comes for me, to look at God and him say anything except for how pleased he is with what I've done.
Pay attention and listen, we about to teach class. Inside the vault, my man Ash Cash. So get your man right. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. You see him, change your life. Millionaire mindset, the best on earth. Blueprints of wealth, the knowledge network. So get it while you can, and he's standing right here. Just come inside the vault and see black millionaires. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Come inside the vault and see black millionaires. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You won't ask cash, you can catch it right here in the vault.
So welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. When I tell you we're going to keep bringing you heat after heat after heat, I'm so excited about this interview because, you know, when I started watching or seeing reality television, one of the things I was like, man, why they always got us looking crazy on reality television? Then my wife and I stumbled upon a reality series called Married to Medicine, and it was like like fresh air, like a breath of fresh air, and just watching different journeys of professionals who are representing our community in the right way. And no knock to other reality shows, but this one was like more our speed. And so it was one couple in particular, I'll be honest with you, that kind of stood out. That was like, man, they doing some big things, you know, beyond just what you saw on social media or on reality TV. So we wanted to have them inside the vault to talk about the powerhouse that is Dr. Damon and Dr. Heavenly Kimes.
How you doing?
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for being our guest.
Thank you for having us. You know, one thing you did right, you said my husband's name first. Don't ever put my name before his. You did that right,
Yes.
brother. Praise God.
Thank you. And so, for those who don't know, right, who is Dr. Damon, who's Dr. Heavenly Kimes?
I'm going to let my husband speak first. Dr. Damon, who are you?
So I'm a husband on Married to Medicine. I'm one of the cast members. I'm really there to support my wife. I'm a physician here in town. I'm multi-boarded in addiction medicine, emergency medicine, family medicine, and I'm board eligible, meaning I've completed all my training for pain. Let's see what else. I don't know. I'm pretty humble, so you know, maybe I've done a few other things, but we'll talk about that.
Some major things.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know why I have a problem leading with Married to Medicine, because I think we're so much more than that. We were that beforehand. You know, I met my loving husband at Meharry Medical College in Nashville, Tennessee. We've been married 24 years. We've been together 27 years. We have 3 beautiful kids. We're children of God, and we work hard. You know what I mean? We work hard.
Yeah.
Really hard. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Are you a coach, consultant, service provider, course creator, or expert that wants more clients to happily pay you $3K to $10K for your programs and services? If you answered yes, I have a special gift for you. It's from my guy, Marquel Russell, and it's called the Paid Ad Playbook, which shows you how to actually get 50 to 100 leads every single day that actually convert into clients. Marquel, he's used the same process to help clients create over $250 million in revenue. And this is more than $250 million. You heard me right. Some of the top influencers, coaches, and consultants in the world have used Marquel's strategies to build multi-million-dollar businesses, and they still use them on a daily basis. And the cool thing is that this works for you even if nobody knows who you are. So to get free access, go to InsideTheVaultGift.com or text VAULT to 904-447 5274. Again, that's InsideTheVaultGift.com or text VAULT to 904-447-5274. My guy's gonna take care of you. Let him know that Ash Cash sent you. And talk to us a little bit about some of like the businesses, you know, because I was gonna try to. It's so much that I couldn't even say it in the intro, but like talk to me a little bit about the businesses that you guys have, you know, together individually, because I think that it's important for people to know that, you know, just because you go to school for one thing doesn't necessarily mean that that's all you have to do. Like you could be way more than what your degree says or what your profession says. So talk to us a little bit about some of those businesses.
Well, I guess we've had a lot of them, and they have not all been successful. You know, I did 2 residencies, so that was like being in jail for 6 years, and because they're 3 years apiece, and I did them back to back. So on Friday, I was a chief resident, big time physician at the family medicine residency, and then on Monday I was an intern again.
Wow.
In emergency medicine. So I don't know if people know about that training, but it's really hard, and no one wants to do intern year twice. So I did that, finished up the residencies. I'm really into music, so we opened a record label. When I first got out, people were like, a record label, but you're going into medicine. I was like, man, I've been wanting to do this forever. So we opened the label. We got a little radio play, got some, you know, some placements, and got a distribution deal with Universal. So we had some success, but that wasn't a big money maker for us. We just tried. I tried really hard. I mean, I spend days in the studio till 3 a.m. and then go to work in the ER at 7 a.m. So I was working. So they didn't all work, but we kept on going. We never really stopped.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, you know, with me, I don't know if a lot of people know I own 9 dental practices. 9. So, yeah, 9. It was called Heavenly Dental Associates. Had billboards all around. And what I was doing was buying practices from doctors that did not understand the business acumen of. They knew the book work, they knew how to cut a prep, but they did not know how to run a business. Wow. So I became the person that they came to. And you know what, my husband was a physician, so you know we always lived within our means. And I always said cash was king, because when somebody was in dire straits, they would call me and say, hey, you know what, I owe the IRS, or I'm behind in this, that, and the other. And I would buy those practices on the spot for cash. Wow. So I bought 9 of those, sold 7 successful practices. 2 of them were failures. We couldn't get them up and running. And did that for years. You know, of course, started Times Management, you know, where we invested in real estate, owned 10 properties. I think we still got 4 right now, four properties, 1 residence and 3 investment properties. We just bought a lake house, so it's 5 properties. And I written 3 books in the time. Right now, I'm in private practice by myself, all cosmetic dentistry. We don't take insurance or you know, Medicaid or anything like that. We all cash, and we do all cosmetic dentistry. Nice. And Married to Medicine kind of just fell in our laps. The girl that was working with a doctor that worked with Damon was pitching a show, and they saw that, you know, they looking for people with bling, like nice houses, nice cars and stuff like that, and somebody who, you know, had a mouth, I guess. So we actually fell into that.
That wasn't me.
And I was gonna say, was that you, Damon?
Oh, man,
you know, so
not at all. No.
Yeah, so we invested in a lot of stuff. We actually had a company, a staffing company.
Yeah.
Of course, real estate. We had a record label. We've done a lot together, and like he said, all of them haven't been successful, but we damn sure learned a lot in every one.
And so, where does that come from? That level of I guess entrepreneurship, right? Because you're doing mergers and acquisitions, record label. That's not typical for doctors, to be honest, right? That's not typical, because for me, you know, my background was a banker, right? And so I've had a lot of doctors as clients, and doctors are doctors. Like, they just...
Yeah, medicine's it.
That's it. Yeah. And so to be, you know, to dedicate all that time to get, you know, to be a doctor, but then also have all of these different moving parts. Like, where does that hustle or that level of entrepreneurship come from?
Fear of God.
Ooh.
So people won't maybe not understand that at first, but basically, I was afraid that if God gave me all these talents and I didn't utilize all of them, I was failing Him. Wow. So I was like, you know what? I really don't have a choice. Like, I can play 7 different instruments. Why though? Is that just because, or should I be doing something with that? I can write pretty well, but why? You know, maybe it was because I needed to edit her book. You know, so I read her book and edited it the best I could. So you know, it was fear. I don't want, when my time comes for me, to look at God and Him say anything except for how pleased He is with what I've done. You know, and so I figured I'd just give my best. So that still remains. Like, we've done a lot, but I don't. And the other thing was fear of relying on one thing.
Yeah.
I couldn't. That's why I'm multi-boarded. I just couldn't. I wanted to take good care of my family, and I didn't want anything to be in the way. You know, and there's obstacles that come up. So I was like, I'll be able to just pivot if I need to. So I did emergency medicine, and I did well. I was the medical director. You know, got pretty good name recognition throughout Georgia, because at one point I was the youngest medical director. But then, you know, no one tells you in medical school or dental school about the business that you're going into. We just learn how to save lives and keep people from dying and whatever else, which is unbelievably important. But how do you make the lifestyle? How do you make sure that the money that you're working so hard to earn lasts? I learned that really from my wife. But the emergency medicine part, I learned that we were really just pawns. So a lot of people put doctors up here, but unless you have a good business acumen, you're really just a worker for whomever you're working for. So I was working for the hospital and in the contracting agency that they use to staff the ER. And I realized it was a ceiling, you know? I mean, I was medical director, you could become area director, but there really wasn't a whole lot after that. So at one point I just was like, I've got to do something different. So my wife, you know, I told her I was unhappy. I was always unhappy in the ER. I don't even know why. I was good at it, and people lived and all that, but I just couldn't, I just wasn't happy when I went to work. And so one day, me and my wife talked about it, and she said, stop doing it. And it wasn't that quick, you know, I worked, I opened up my office, I hired other doctors, I worked the ER to pay them, and then I realized I still got to go back to school because they're not getting the patient satisfaction and other things. So I decided to go back to school, and ultimately the timeline went from most of my time in ER to more of my time in my office, to where it's about equal, and then more time in the office, and eventually I was able to walk away from the ER.
No, I love it, love it, love it, love it.
And now he has 2 practices, interventional pain. He does a lot of personal injury cases and stuff like that. But yeah, he would have to thank me for that. Listen, so I was doing my thing. I've always had an entrepreneurial mind. I think it's innate because nobody in my family ever did that. Spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on my financial education. I was the one that always went to the mastermind courses, trying to figure out the money, trying to figure out the stuff. Because now we got this money, we got to figure out how to save it. We got financial planners, all that, you know, was on me. Damon was working. So I was taking his money and investing it, right? And I wasn't scared to start other businesses because I knew he had it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people was like, Heavenly, you not scared? Scared of what? I'm scared of being broke. So I was always running scared. We had a Jamaican guy used to say, always run scared. You know, no matter how much you got, act like you ain't got nothing. So we work hard, and we still work hard to this day. And I was looking at Damon. I was like, Damon, I got doctors working for me. I have dime practices. I had all the specialties working for me, endo, oral surgeons work, and all that. And I'm looking at Damon and how much I paid my doctors. And, you know, $250 an hour might sound like a lot. But then I would say, Damon, but how much they make it in the ER? And if anybody knows, if they ever been to the ER, they owe thousands of dollars. Their insurance will pay thousands of dollars. Damon's seeing 30, 40 people a night, and they paying him $250 an hour. And I'm like, boo. And then they used to send him on retreats and take me there, and they would give me a massage and have a, I'm like, this ain't shit. Like, dude, I know what this man is making, y'all. I understand. You know what I mean? So I was like, Daddy, you could have other doctors working for you. You can do this yourself. So I think I encouraged him, you know. I would,
well, yeah, and I recruited, when I was director, I recruited most of the doctors working in the ER anyway. So that's where the staffing company came. A friend of mine who now has passed, we started a company together, and we were doing it. We recruited more docs. We started staffing some of the larger hospital organizations around, staffing ERs, clinics. We were really doing it. And then he passed away, and that kind of took a little of my focus away, because that was pretty devastating. But you know, I kept going. So we still have the staffing company. I now only do it for friends and, you know, other docs that are close to me and stuff like that. But yeah, that was, you know, my wife, we both weren't scared. But then people always say, well, what drives us? But I don't know, because like we just are still driven. Even in the face of success, we feel like there's more to do because we're trying to make generational wealth for our children. We're trying to make a difference in the world. And like I said, those 10 talents, I'm gonna keep going until my last day.
Yeah.
Right, I feel like we haven't done enough. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Based on all that we've done, I don't have $40 million. I don't have $50 million. And I think that's the goal to get there. I mean, we got the life insurance. We have the 401ks, the cash saving plan. We did all that for the kids, the 529s, the IRA. But if you look at that, that ain't really that much. You know what I'm saying? Most of our money is in real estate, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying, shoot, until we get to a certain number, we gonna hustle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm still working in my office. I just opened a beauty supply store.
Awesome.
I had a friend of mine that was running beauty supply stores, and I was like, you know what? If my arm broke tomorrow, $1 million arm, I can't do shit, right?
Yeah.
But a beauty supply store is a multi-billion-dollar industry,
Right.
and I just got to figures out how to get the products away from them Asian folk, right?
Yeah.
So I had a girl in LA that was already doing it. She got me onto her vendors and her suppliers and stuff, and I was like, I can do this, and finding staff isn't as difficult because I don't need a doctor. You know what I'm saying? A doctor, shoot, it ain't but so many, right? But I can find somebody, you know, and if you know, get somebody good and pay them $15 and they'll work hard, you know, for them 15 because they're getting $8 somewhere else.
Right.
So open a beauty supply store that's been successful. We only had that like what 4 or 5 months. Doing well. Already had success with that. And we just grinding. Daddy just opened his second office in Decatur because a lot of his personal injury cases could not make it to Roswell where he is now. So a lot of them go to Decatur and right.
Well, and I wanted to sort of make an analogy for people to think about if you don't mind. I know I'm talking a lot. I normally don't talk that much.
You're good. You're good. Yeah.
So I went to a dinner meeting one night with a guy who motivated me a lot. And it was very simple what he said, but I never forgot it. So we were talking about how he bought an interventional pain practice like mine and it quadrupled his income. And I was like, how did you do that? You're not even the doctor. What did you? He said, we were referring out too much. So I decided to bring it in-house. Whatever we could do in-house, we were going to do that. And he said, so then I thought of other things that we were sending out where we didn't need to. So I said, okay. I said, well, and so we talked about some specifics on what he had done and what he brought in office. And I said, well, what about if the insurances change? What if they change the pay rate on certain things? Because that happens every year. Insurances, and people don't know that, but insurances are meeting every year to determine what the cost of certain procedures that doctors do or services the doctors provide, how much they're going to pay. And that could be good if they decide to go up, or it can be bad if they decide to go down. So I said, what if they just decide to not pay? He said, well, Damon, you know, I was sitting there, we're sitting at a dinner table. He said, look at the glass of water. Which would you rather be, the water or the glass? So I'm gonna let you think about it for half a second. And then my answer was wrong. Hopefully other people feel this way, and maybe they're just smarter than me, but I was like, I'd rather be the glass. I'm sturdy, I could hang in there. He said, no. And I said, why not be the glass? He said, you need to be the water. I said, why? Because you can change shape with whatever happens. And I was like, so that's your answer. You'll pivot. If the insurance company say we're not going to pay in this particular procedure, there's always something else because there's a million things wrong with people and there's other things that they reimburse. So be the water.
Hey, how you guys doing? Hold on, don't press that button because that's what I do every time I'm looking at an ad that I don't want to see. This ad just happened to be life-changing. I just happen to own one of the biggest home healthcare companies in the state of Georgia. I can help you create your own. Just to give you a little bit of insight, I send out registered nurses, LPNs, and CNAs to take care of people inside of the homes that cannot take care of themselves. But guess what? You don't have to have any medical background and you don't have to have any medical knowledge. So if you're wanting to change your life and you have a passion for actually taking care of people, then go ahead and sign up for Home Healthcare Blueprint. I'll see you guys later.
Right. No, I love that. And then, you know, speaking of that, about like pivoting, how did like the pandemic and, having people shut in and jobs losses and things of that, like how did that affect the business?
Well, for me, when I first heard about coronavirus, I was actually terrified of it because the ER, they knew nothing about it and people were dying left and right. And as a dentist, I'm right there with the respiratory fluids. I'm right there, even though we already use universal precautions. And we just started doing that because of HIV, the gloves, the mask, and the eyewear. So I was there and they were saying, hey, the respiratory droplets, you could die of corona. So I closed my office immediately. I stopped working. Like for 40 days, I stopped working. Praise God. You know, I had a husband with an income, but I stopped working and I waited for the ADA to give us guidelines on how we could safely work, you know? And during that time, I started a YouTube channel. Well, I already had it, but I started doing it every day at noon because I got it from that movie with Will Smith. What's it called, Daddy? Legend. Remember Legend? He would go every day at 12 noon. I would go live on YouTube and talk about finances. And that grew my YouTube up. And I got like 100,000 views now. And I don't do it that often, but yeah. So that's what I did. I closed my office. And then when I reopened, what it taught me was I could see patients virtually. And I'm still seeing them virtually. Like we see people from LA, New York, all that, and actually look at them. Maybe they have the x-rays, maybe they don't, but I can pretty much tell you what's wrong with your mouth and how much it's going to be virtually. And then we get patients in. And then I learned that I didn't need to see insurance, so I stopped seeing insurance altogether. Quadrupled my practice during the pandemic. Quadruple. Damon never stopped working.
But I took an active role because I felt like, okay, I can't sit here and do nothing. And Georgia was closed at the time. And I was like, what are we gonna do? Then I heard an announcement they were gonna open the state back up. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, we'll do a bunch of testing. People will know where they stand. But there was no announcement on testing. So I was like, well, we gotta do something. I mean, we gotta test. So I wrote a letter to the governor. I wrote a letter to the mayor of Atlanta. I wrote a letter to other folks as well. And I said, hey, I'm willing to do this at no cost to you. All I want is for you to help me open doors so we can test as many people as possible.
And quiet as kept, Keisha Lance Bottoms helped Damon to the umpteenth. And she never did put her name in it. She never did take any credit, but she got him into a lot of doors.
Yeah, we didn't get as much help from the state government side, but that was okay because it didn't matter. And so people were telling me I couldn't do it. You can't do testing, you can't do this. But I didn't listen to that. I said, we must do this. And so I kept pushing. Eventually, one person told me we couldn't do it at the state level. And I told her we could and we would do it. And within 2 hours, she was calling me saying, we're going to do it and we're going to use you and this and that. So, you know, it's just persistence and not taking no for an answer.
So he started a whole testing company called Georgia Know Your Status. And we saw thousands and thousands of people. We actually went to D.C. for the Million Man March on TV, on Married to Medicine. They allowed us to film it with Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, and Martin Luther King.
Yeah, he was involved in the battle. He didn't.
But he did all the corona testing for that whole situation on the March on Washington, which was last year. And we filmed it.
And then, where does your sense of resilience come from, right? Because, you know, as I hear you talk, I think one of the great things I love is the balance, right? It's like yin and yang, and you know, there's a true balance, and there's a true support system that you guys support each other. But you know, in your own way, both of you are the same, right? And you have this level of resiliency, this thing that says, man, we just gonna do it, right? And I'm more just thinking about the mindset, right? Like, what is that mindset comes from?
You know, Damon and I are very different because I feel like I start business and stuff because I can depend on him. I know whatever happens, he's gonna be okay. He don't depend on me like that, even though he can, and I'm always there, and I'm his rock. He always say, "Nah, I'm the man. I'm gonna do it." You know what I mean? And so I depend totally on him with the things I do. But him, he wants to be, you know. So even though I'm there and I do things and I do put out fires that he don't nothing about, but he always takes the charge and he always, you know, is the leader.
Yeah, but to that end, right? Like, it does still take a level, right? Like, he has this fearlessness. Like, listen, I'm gonna try it. Fear of God, right? But it still takes
perseverance,
a level of perseverance, a level of fearlessness, even though that you know that you could depend on Damon. I still kind of feel like like this thing that you still take certain risks. You still like will make things happen. And so where is that? Like, what is that that mindset?
You know what? I always look at things as I have no choice but to make it work. Like it's gonna work no matter what. So I have the mindset, and I look at the big picture. I don't look at the details on how to do it, and I look at the worst case scenario. What's the worst case scenario? What's the worst thing that can happen out of this? So I only put a percentage of my purse into any business. I don't put everything in nothing, so I can sleep at night. But what's the worst case scenario? I mean, when they train you, they always train you for the worst case scenario. So that's what I think about. And if you think about it, a lot of people come to you and they're afraid. They have their own fears. Even your family, your mama, you can't do that. You know, you can't do that. You need to be afraid of this. But you look at it, and the worst case ain't that bad. The worst case ain't that bad, because like, we done been through everything. I know I have in business. I've been through everything you could think of. I've been through it, and it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
So if I hear you correctly, it is the experience of failing and it not being the end of the world that says, oh, is this it? Why not keep going?
And we fail more so than we are successful in a lot of things. But when we are successful, it's so successful, it takes over the failures that we had along the way.
And so would you say that failure is the opposite of success, or failure is a part of success?
Failure is a part of success,
Definitely.
for sure, because you know, and it depends on how you react to failure. So if you fail at something, it doesn't work out perfectly, and you just give up, and giving up is not pivoting. And switching gears is not giving up. You may realize that if, you know, you may want to sell bottle caps or something, right? But you realize they're not selling. And you decide to sell stock options, whatever you decide. And then all of a sudden that works. You just shifted. You just said, okay, I see this isn't working the way I want. And so you shift. The other thing is just, I don't like to lose, you know? So like, whether that was when I was young, getting into scraps, I don't like to lose, or wrestling or any sport that I've done. I hate to lose. So I was willing to put the time in and put the effort in to be different and to succeed, and willing to do stuff that other people weren't. Like, there's plenty of times people think, even people that work with me at the office may think, oh, his day's done, he's getting ready to go home. I may not be going home. I may be going to another meeting to market some more. I may be going to meet with somebody who I can refer patients to, or who can refer patients to me. So it's all this stuff this being done constantly, and I'm not tired. The thing about it is, I enjoy what I do. Sometimes I feel guilty because I enjoy it so much. I'm like, this isn't really work, man. I'm just going to help people out. And it's challenging at the same time. Using needles to make a difference in back pain or neck pain or nerve damage and stuff like that is amazing. And to look at the folks' face when they get up and they're like, man, I feel better. Someone who's in a car accident, who, you know, and the other thing, mentioning car accidents and personal injury, you know, we've relied on one method of making personal injury work for a long time. It's time to try something different. A lot of businesses and industries have used the knowledge that physicians bring to the table to make a bunch of money off of them. We're the ones doing the thinking, we're the ones doing the diagnosis, but someone else is making a killing. So I said, you know what? Let's do a personal injury office that starts with the physician, not excluding anyone. You need your personal injury attorney, you may need chiropractors, you may need physical therapists, but a good quarterback is really that. And I think physicians are great quarterbacks in figuring out where these patients need to go and what treatments. So if people come to me, they can come to me, one phone call, I guess I'll say it, 678-736-7680 for Roswell Pain Specialist and Roswell Personal Injury, and just say, hey, I was in an accident, I need some help. If you don't have an attorney, we got you. If you don't have a chiropractor, we got you. If you don't have physical therapy, we got it. So
all under one roof.
I love that. I love that. And what advice would you give to a married couple, right, who are looking to get into business with each other, right? So, you know, I mean, I love the dynamic, right? You know, been together 27 years, married 24 years, 3 children, and, you know, just to kind of see the you know, the way that you guys bounce off of each other. Like, what's the secret sauce? Like, how do you make it last, you know?
Honest support.
Yeah.
Like, if something's not cool, Heavenly will tell me.
Yeah.
For
like,
sure.
You know, like it doesn't, you know, and so she challenges me often to think of what could be like the worst case scenario and stuff, and what would you do in this situation. But it's honest, but it's supportive. And so with me, I have a little different approach. Really, whatever she wants to do, I'm going to back her. So she doesn't need to ask me so much, and I don't hold her back either. I think that's another thing. You know, you can support, but then there's too much control where you're trying to, you know, everyone, God made us all and he made us individually. So if she has in her mind it's something she needs to do, I can't always just say, well, no, I don't think that's, you know, you know, I mean, maybe that's what God meant her to do. So I let her do what she wants. And I mean, you know, sometimes people ask, well, how do we manage your money? I just work my tail off and give her what I got. And that's really...
And that's the smartest thing he could ever do.
Absolutely,
Let me do it. I take it and I invest it. I do what I need to do. Now, when you say businesses together, we don't work together. Like he has his own business. I've probably been to his practice twice and he's been to mine twice. We work separate but equal. We work separately. But when we do something as the woman, it's very difficult because I have to turn off my boss hat and allow him to lead. You know what I mean? Even though I have to learn, and it's difficult to do, and I ain't always successful. I have to learn how to speak to him in a way that he can understand what I'm saying and vice versa, and allow him to be the man still. You know what I mean? And that's hard to do. And I think that's I ain't gonna say that's the flaw, but that's the flaw of a lot of women. They forget that, and you know, and then people call me old fashioned, or you thinking like the wrong way. Keep doing the things the way you're doing and not making men feel like men. Your marriage will not last, and you will see that that's the truth. And it's biblical. So,
but then you also got to be the type of man where
absolutely
you're unshaken. I mean, like, really, you know, my advice to people would be, if someone says something that makes you feel like you can't accomplish your goals, stop talking to them about it. Don't have that conversation. Or if somebody decides to put their 2 cents in and it's negative, be determined enough to say, okay, I appreciate your opinion, but I'm gonna make it happen anyway. I don't even have to tell people that. I just listen. I'm like, okay. But I'm already thinking, hey, you say what you want. You know, I will listen to everything and consider everything, because it might be great advice someone gave me, but it doesn't. I have unwavering faith in what God can do and what I can do.
Nice. No, I love that. And so, Dr. Heavenly, I know you've written books, you've done, you know, speaking and things of that nature. You know, what was the motivation around, you know, your books?
That was just the natural progression. I mean, after the things and the money I put into my financial education, I don't know if a lot of people know, I have a real estate license. I have the Series 65. I have an insurance license. So I understand all different angles of business, probably enough to be dangerous. But I educated myself on a lot of stuff, and I wanted the world to know. I started out saying you can have it all. A lot of women feel like if they're mothers, they stop there, or if they're wives, they stop there, but you can have it all. However, you can't have it all the same day. You got to prioritize and make sure your man taken care of. God comes first, then your family, then everything else. And then be a mother. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like that was one of the great callings that I had to be. I always wanted to be a mother. Like, that's why I became a dentist and not a physician, because I didn't want a long call. I wanted to set my own hours. I wanted to be a wife and a mother. That was my whole goal in life. And I went to dental school, i.e. his medical school, to find my husband. And I did that. I put it on a vision board and it worked. So you play in all aspects of your life, not just business, but your marriage too.
Wow. That's powerful. And then, like, so now you've, you know, envisioned this lifestyle. You guys are together. How do you balance sort of like the grind, right? Like, you know, because both business folks have successful businesses, children. Like, how do you balance it all?
Well, you know, that's very difficult, and I stay on him all the time, because he will work all the damn time if you allow him. And I know a lot of women have a problem with a man not working. This man will work too much, so I make him, make him take off Tuesdays. I make him take off every other Friday. I work 3 days a week. You know what I mean? So I have time for other things that we want to do, because you get in a rat race and you realize even though he enjoys what he does and I love what I do, you gotta prioritize and still have time to go on date nights and go on trips and stuff like that and enjoy the things that we work so hard for. No,
I love that. And so, you know, a lot of people who have these professions, right? So whether it's a doctor, whether it's, you know, a financial advisor, they might work within a system. You know, what advice would you give them on the first steps to take if they wanted to be their own boss?
Figure out what it is that you're passionate about. You know, figure out what it is you really like. Figure out what it is.
And everybody say that, but it's so true. You got to do something you like to do.
Something is, and it may take a minute. You may not realize what that is. But once you do, you know, work your tail off it and be the best. Like, I've never seen a patient that I didn't give 150%. Whether they knew it or not, I gave them 150% of my attention.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about a bunch of other stuff. And I was truly thinking about how can I solve this problem? How can I figure out what's going on? So, you know, I put a lot of work into it and study. You know, there's more downtime than people think they have. Like you think you're working your butt off, right? You know, there's a guy, if I was going to quote somebody, David Goggins is a guy that I'm incredibly impressed with. He is a little cursing more than I do, but the thing about it is he talks about this 40% rule. And he talks about how most of us are really only doing about 40%, even though we're thinking we're giving 100% or 80%. You can probably always do a little more. And if you train, you can definitely do more. So training by studying, training by trying to stay in shape, because if you're not healthy, you can't really accomplish as much as you want. So, you know, I guess that's my advice. And then the most important thing for sure is keeping God first and remembering things like Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, or something that makes you feel like, man, I'm gonna go get this today, you know. And it's just always grinding, like Goggins says, getting after it. Like, I mean, man, I probably listen to his stuff, the same things all the time, because I want my mind to constantly be thinking of doing more. And it's not harder to do that. It's just that's the mindset you have to have in order, I think, to be truly successful. Is you're going to that next level at all times.
Yeah, oh, love that.
And if you think about it, all successful people speak the same stuff, and all of it's biblical. Whether you want to make it the universe, laws of the universe, you want to say it's a secret, it's all biblical. Like he says, faith comes by hearing, hearing the same things over and over and believing it, just visioning it yourself, writing it down, taking a picture, visioning it, knowing you can do it. If you can, if you think you can, if you think you can't, you're right. So if you know you can do it, then even if you get obstacles, I know I can get this. I don't know what's going to happen on the way, but I see the big picture and I know I'm gonna get there. Envision it, write it down, and look at it every day. And whatever you want to accomplish, you can get there. You know what I'm saying? And that goes for relationships, that goes for money, that goes for business, or any aspect of your life.
And how does one get there, right? Because there's people, you know, you guys talk about your failures, and there's people who do fail, but they get into like this dark space, you know, this space of like, man, you know, there's no way up, right? And so, you know, how do you, you know, like speak to that person that's currently going through it, and you know?
Yeah. So like, what it is like, so what is that person's food? What are they using as fuel to fuel, you know, what they're trying to do?
Yeah.
So if your fuel is you're reading your Bible, you're reading your books for school, whatever, you're talking to people who get you motivated, that sounds like pretty good fuel. You're eating healthy food. But if you're talking to someone who's negative and you hear that, and someone's like, man, they, you know, the whole theory of, you know, the man is holding me down and different things like that. And that's popular. People will say that all the time. You got to think about what food you're getting in. You know, if you're listening to a bunch of negative talk, it's going to have an effect on you. You know, so I really mean it. When I say don't talk to people who tell you you can't make it, I'm not saying don't talk to them, because they may be related to you, may love that person. But I cannot talk to that person about my goals. We can talk about golfing or football or whatever, but we're not going to talk about what I'm trying to work on.
I think that, like Damon said, and he led with it, it's got to be faith. You know what I mean? Because if you know you can do it and God put it in your heart, and you know, you pray and you meditate on that thing, and when you have problems and you have failures and stuff like that, you go give it back to God and say, God, what you want me to do? What you want me to do with this? And he will talk to you. He'll lead you in the way you need to go. And sometimes stuff ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes things, you know, it's a path and things ain't for you. But like he say, be the water. If you start selling hair and the hair wasn't working, but you got a hair store, put some clothes in there. You know what I'm saying? Put some shoes in that thing. You know what I'm saying? Sell whatever. So you got to be the water and find out what works and run with that. Absolutely.
No, I love that. I love that. And how has television helped or hurt it? Like how has that assisted in, you know, what you guys are doing?
Well, I'll answer that question, because Damon has not been on the forefront of television. He has never been the type to ever, you know, be a part of the reality TV. He's got my back. Like, he's sitting there and he's, you know, he'll give his input, but he's not a part of the drama and all that there. Starting reality TV was one of the scariest decisions of my life. Like, okay, I got 9 practices. I'm doing this. I'm making this amount of money, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, when you first start with reality TV, they don't pay you no real money.
Right.
It goes up, you know, every season.
Right.
So if you paying me this and I'm taking a chance like a mug, because I know what reality TV is. I didn't watch it, but I know it was a negative connotation with it. All we knew was Nene, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying? Something like that.
Right.
So we looked at it, and I was saying, Daddy, I call him Daddy. Daddy, you think I should do reality TV?
Yeah.
And everybody was telling me, I ain't gonna say no names, but big name people was like, Dr. Heavenly, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do that.
Yeah.
And I looked at my husband, I said, Daddy, should I do reality TV? He said, you should. And you know, even though he's a calm, mild manner, ain't bothered in the drama, he said, you be great at it and you're gonna kill it. He said, you have thick skin, you don't care about, you know, what people say, and you got a quick mouth. He said, you gonna kill it, baby. He said, and I'll support you in any way. I don't wanna be on it, but I do it for you. And that was all I needed, because everybody else was telling me not to do it. And initially I turned it down. I was like, nah, I don't wanna do this. You know, and then they called me the next season, and it was something tangible that I saw, and I was like, I'm a businesswoman. If they got 2-point-something million viewers, you know, total, what could I do with that audience? So I was like, shit, I'm gonna take a chance. And I did it, and it has flourished in all of my businesses. Like you say, you look at people like Candy, she's one of my mentors. Like, I look at what she doing, she used that thing to, and you look at her and you say, why ain't everybody? Everybody got the platform, why won't they use it to build a business? You watch her, she got her sex toys on the thing, they making a big drama about it, but at the end of the day, you remember you got her damn sex toys. You got a restaurant, you got her all this stuff she's bringing out. And then I watch my girl, Dr. Jackie, got a skincare line, don't even do no skin. She an OBGYN. She got sex toys, she got a book out, she got a surrogacy center. You know what I'm saying? So reality TV is a way you can get to. I mean, if you look at all the drama and stuff, that's what sells, the people there. But once you get the audience, then you can educate them.
No, I love that. And I think that that's important, because some people do it for fame, right? Like to be noticed. And then some people use it as a commercial, you know, and you know, Candy was one of our first interviews, and like just kind of getting into the mindset of how she was successfully able to like use that platform like a free commercial.
But you know who's also smart? That damn Todd. You ever talk to him?
No,
that damn Todd is smart too. Like, she picked him really well in the sense that he's the backbone of what, she's the face of it, but he's the numbers guy behind it, just adding stuff up. You talk to him, he's pretty smart as well. So they got it going on, power couple. And you look at them and you be like, shit, if they do it, I know I could do it. I know I could use this platform for this, you know what I'm saying? And ride this thing till the wheels fall off, because I get it, you know, how to do it and be successful at it.
And so what's next? What's next for the Kimes?
Well, for me, my passion is dentistry. It always has been, always will be. That'll be my number one thing. That's where I make my most money. I want to do Dr. Heavenly University, where I train dentists. I already started. I actually had it up and running until the corona thing, and then I had to shut it down. But train dentists on how to make money with dentistry. Like, a lot of people come out of dental school and know nothing about business. I witnessed them. I bought their practices. I've done this. But you got to teach them the marketing aspect, the financial aspect, and how much power they have, because sometimes they don't even realize it when talking to a banker. If you know the banker and you know the vice president, it don't matter what you got. It's all about relationships, you know? And you got to know how to save it. Take it to the financial planner and put it in that 529, so you can't, you know, for the kids, or that 401k, or that cash savings plan, anything tax deductible or tax deferred, you want to put it in there. Life insurance products and all that kind of stuff. I took those classes. So I want to give that information to my people. You know, I invite everybody, but you know, my people that'll listen. And I'm at the age now where the young people come to me and they look up to me. I'm like, hey, come to Dr. Heavenly University. And look, I ain't even got to charge them that much. I got a relationship with the vendors. So the implant people want the money, you know, they're gonna sponsor it. The people that's doing the lab work want to sponsor the financial planner. The banks coming at me saying, okay, I give you $50,000, I give you this, that, and other, and doing it quarterly, and bring these people in and educating them on how to make money.
I love it. I love it.
So that's my goal, Dr. Heavenly University.
Mine is so, you know, we talked about
He's so
Roswell
calm.
personal injury, and so I definitely want to blow that up. But more importantly, I just want to be obedient. I don't know if I've been obedient enough to what God wants from me. Because, you know, reality TV came, and my goal initially was not to be seen. I didn't want to be heard. I didn't want to be seen. I was going to be there because my wife wanted me to be there, but I wasn't really trying to do input. But the thing was, when God has it on you to where your words are going to make a difference for people, you gotta let that come out.
Absolutely.
And I've been fighting it. I'll be honest. I've been fighting it. So my goal is to just be more obedient, speak more to people, make myself available a little bit more, and do some things that my wife's doing. She's on social media. There are so many things I believe I could tell, especially men and especially black men, of what to do that could help them transcend. So
and he got a calling on him, and he don't realize it. He got a calling. He got an obligation to do that, because I ain't gonna say no. There's very few black men like him. Very few that know how to treat a woman, treat her right, be respectful, and all that. Now that people saying, oh, that's olden days, that's olden times for men to be respectful and not get into bitch shit and all that and act like a real man. They water it down like men don't have to be men anymore. This is a real man. He's hard worker and he's educated. He's intelligent. He's articulate, and I don't know too many brothers like him. You know what I'm saying? And that's my man.
Right,
you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I picked him well.
Yeah. So
talk heavy. Talk heavy.
That's all I'm saying. And he's the way he is because I molded him into the man he is. You know what I'm saying? You found the right one. I mean, I had to have a good foundation to start with, but this man is who he is because of me. Just understand that.
Well, I think God.
Okay, we gonna pray God put me in your life.
Yeah. My mom, my grandma.
They had a party, they birthed him. So.
Yeah, so but I mean, the thing is, I'm being obedient. By doing more, because it's not easy. Like my wife can get up and she can talk and do podcasts and all. I've not been on. I mean, I don't even know if I've ever been on a podcast.
You have one or two.
One or two.
I do them all the time though.
All right, but she does. Yeah, she does them.
But I like to talk. He don't.
But here's the thing: I see the need. I see the need. I can't sit back, or he'll say, hey man, why do you think I made it possible for you to do all that? So you could share it.
Absolutely.
Not keep it to yourself. I've written 782 songs or so, and only 5 or 6, probably about 10 have been put out there.
Wow.
So I'm thinking like, man, come on, that ain't cool. You got to get, I love music, and there's a reason for it. But I've got to just.
We ain't doing no music. Listen, that's a crooked ass business, and we don't want to be a part of that.
I'm already. The show is putting my music on. I'm doing music. That's just
782 though. That's.
You ain't doing no damn music. We gonna let that go.
I'm always gonna do music, but at the same time, whatever else God leads me to do, I'm gonna just do it. I'm not gonna, curtail what He has in store for me. So. That's really it.
And Damon's a brilliant writer. He could do everything. He could play 8 different instruments. He's a brilliant writer. He's a great speaker. If you ever heard him do public speaking, he's that man. I don't know where he get, but you know what? He was in private school, right? He went to boarding school from a little boy. He was in a program. We all grew up poor, but he was in a Mensa program where he was a genius or whatever. They put him in a thing in Pomfret, where all the rich people went, and he went there on scholarship and learned how to, and all the qualities that you read in all those books that you got. You read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You read all these books on how to be successful, how to cater to successful people, how to get people to like you. All those is in him. It was instilled in him from his upbringing, or I don't know where he get it from. But everything you read in the book, be like, damn, he already do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a struggle for me, but he already got it.
Well, there's stuff I need to work on. So I'm working on it. I'm not in Mensa. I just took the test to make sure I could be if I wanted to, and that worked out well. I'm thankful to be smart, because the thing about it is, that's just a blessing.
Absolutely.
People think, oh, you're smart and you take it for granted. I don't. I mean, because God could have not, he could have not given me that ability, but He did. So I'm gonna use it, and I'm gonna use it till I can't anymore, and just try to be an inspiration. Because on my emails it says your success is inevitable, and with it you will change the world. And I think slowly but surely, that's how I wrote that as just a statement on my emails. But I knew, I was like, if I look at this every day, it's going to become reality, and it is.
I'm making plan.
You speak it into existence.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. And so let's talk money a little bit, right? So I remember, I was telling y'all behind the scenes that my wife and I, we always wanted to buy property and build our home. And she showed me this YouTube video, and it's Dr. Heavenly going through this 47 acre property, you know, big talk. Like, listen, we bought the main lot, then we didn't want neighbors, right? Look. We bought the main lot, we didn't want no neighbors, so we bought the other 2 lots, right? You know, what was the what was the feeling of being able to do something like that, right?
Well, really, we stay outside the city, so we didn't pay that much. You know what I'm saying? Now people paying $3-4 million for houses. We got our house for like 1.45, the main property, and then we bought the other properties. I think 300,000-400,000 on each side, right? So when we were, when I had a practice, I had one in Covington, Conyers, Lithonia, and Social Circle. I put my house in the middle so I could be close to, so I was never in the city. I never liked the traffic. I never liked that at all. So I wasn't going to be in the city. And where we stay at was equidistant, so we were able to get a great deal. We walked in that house with a lot of equity because it's outside the city. And now we paid it off, and we just, buying other properties.
Yeah, I mean, for me, be honest with you, I didn't really pay that much attention to the property at first because I was just grinding. I was working the ER. I was working all the time.
I bought that house without even consulting him. He saw it, but he didn't care. He was like, "Yeah, baby, whatever you." That's what I like about him. Whatever you want, baby, get it. They paint the house purple.
Yeah, I didn't even see the value. I didn't see the beauty of the house until we were there for a couple of years. Wow. And then I remember we took the kids walking through all the 47 acres, and that's when I realized how huge it was. I was like, "Dang, this is a lot, you know."
Yeah, 40 acres in the mill. They promised it to us.
We're still discovering stuff on that property because, all those years I worked, and when people feel like say, "Oh, they don't get how hard I was working." There was times my first job in the ER I was doing 17-hour days because it was 2.5 hours to get there. No, hour and 45 to get there, hour and 45 to get back. Then you work a 12-hour shift. Then I was the director, so I had to stay over a lot. So it was often 17 hours of up and back, and then go back the next day.
Yeah. What makes you trust your wife so much?
She's smart, and even though she's not perfect, and there's certain things we've had disagreements with, I don't know.
I'm not perfect, baby.
No, she's perfect. Pretty much, but it might have been
clean that up. Clean that up.
0.0001%. But so she's really proven her point, man. She's better at investments and financial. I know what I'm good at. I'm good at working hard. I'm good at protection. I'm good at being a father to our kids. But she's better on the financial planning side. And then I'm not really. I don't need much. I mean,
he wear them scrubs everywhere. He got a jeans and he got about 3 black t-shirts. That's it. That's all he got.
People have made fun of me. Can't you go and buy? But I'm like, hey man, that's not me though. I'm not a flashy guy. I mean, if I have anything that looks flashy, she bought it. I didn't.
Jeremy got him a nice outfit for the reunion, but he didn't even come. He got him nice. He said it was an Hermes belt. They didn't know what the hell that was.
My son needed me, and that trumps everything else, and he needed me to be there, and so I was there, and I would again. I mean, and that's the balance. That was a perfect example of balance because she went on and did what she needed to do.
Oh, I got that on lock.
Because the show is important, but I needed to be a dad and be home, and I did.
I think one of the reasons that Damon trusts me so much is because I proved myself over and over again. One thing that a black man can get, and I don't give a damn what nobody say, is a good black woman. We have a power of discernment, and if y'all are smart enough to listen, and you don't even understand how she know what she know, but she know it, right? And then you look at that person, you say, "Oh, daddy, he don't mean you know well." You judging people. You always, after a while, about 6-7 years, he be like, she on to something. Let me just listen. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to be smart enough and humble enough to say, my wife really does have a problem, and I don't know how she knows shit, but I can see things in people just right away.
But to all the men out there, you don't have to talk about everything you're doing. There's something bigger that I'm working on right now. It's bigger than anything I've ever done, but we really haven't talked about it that much. That's okay, because I'm not wasting money on it. I'm using a lot of sweat equity to make it happen, and that's it. And so when it comes to fruition, I'll just be like, "Hey, look at the account," and that's it.
And I get all the money. It's all mad. It's all mad.
And that's the thing.
It's okay.
I give it to her because, she's trustworthy. I'm not.
Because he loves his wife, and any man that don't give his wife everything don't really love her. That's all I'm going to throw out there. I'm telling the truth. Because if a man don't give you his money, he don't give a damn about y'all, okay?
No, I don't know about that. I don't know.
Well, you gave me when I met him, he was paying my light bill.
Okay.
Yeah, money isn't really like. I'm just no. I know you like no, but like
What?
money is just not like I want to have things,
Yeah.
okay, but that's just not. It's not my driver.
Right.
You know, my what drives me is stability and being able to take care of our kids and
Yeah.
all of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so.
Alright.
Yeah, love it, love it. What would you say is the most extravagant thing you guys have done with money? Individually, together, yeah.
I think one of the most extravagant things Damon has gotten, and usually it's always for me, about me, when he first started his practice, it took him some years to get it up and running. And we were looking at him making $50,000, $60,000 a month in the ER. And when he started his business, he wasn't making that. You know what I'm saying? So like the finances changed immensely. And it took him some years to get it up. And then when he started doing personal injury and he saw the fruition come in and all the money come in like it was supposed to, because you do all these cases and then to start, you know, they close. So you get so many a month. He bought me a Maybach. He brought it to my birthday and he pulled up in it. And I was like, Daddy, I ain't need this.
That's
But,
completely out of my like I couldn't even believe.
and I was
yeah.
like, thank you, Daddy.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah.
But if it was for me, I wouldn't have never spent that much on myself. So for myself, the most I ever spent in my lifetime on myself was $8,000.
Wow.
And I bought music equipment.
Wow.
And that was it. And I called her and I said, you know, the
And
drum
I said,
set.
hell no, you don't need
No,
this.
she didn't. No, the drum set alone cost $5.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, but I've always wanted these drums. And she was like, go ahead and get it. I wasn't going to get it because I felt like it was too much
He
to spend
cheap,
on
he don't want to
my.
buy nothing.
It was
but
too much to spend on
you
myself.
make money to spend it, right? You save it, but you got to spend some too, right? I mean, look,
Man,
you got to spend a little bit.
I'm telling you, that's still, and that was years ago. Like that might have been 2004.
Years ago, yeah.
You know, but I just, that was, and I haven't really spent, I mean, if I've spent, and like you said, it's always been on other people.
Right.
But that's fine. That's how I function. Like that's not, you know, I got what I wanted. That music equipment was.
He got his wife. That's what he wanted. He got it. So
There you
that's
go.
what.
There you go.
Yeah. And so what would you say is the most impactful thing you've done with money?
Probably the COVID testing. When Damon started the COVID testing, he started Georgia, you know your status, and we went into the inner city where the people weren't getting tested. So they didn't know they were getting tested. So when they didn't know they didn't know they had COVID, they didn't know to take the vitamin D or go to the hospital or what to do. So Damon was not only giving them testing for COVID, he was educating them on a lot of different health things and how to stay healthy. So I
Every
think
chance
that
I
was the
could get.
most impactful thing we did with money because we put money into it.
Nice, nice. Love it, love it. All right, so we're going to do a quick lightning round. And so what we do here inside the vault, we take a few terms and we, you know, give you them terms and we flip them a little bit, right? And so the first term is deposit slip, right? Mm-hmm. You go into a bank, you use a deposit slip, you deposit money into the bank. But for us inside the vault, a deposit slip means a slip up, like a money mistake, right? Something that you slipped up. What would you say is your biggest deposit slip, the biggest money mistake you've made?
Shit, it's been so many.
Yeah.
Not paying attention. There was one time I messed up. You know, our credit score went down because I pay all my bills automatically, right? We had financed the home, the one on the Aspenwood Court. And we financed that home, and I always paid it on time because I did it automatically. They refinanced this thing. I don't know what happened. The loan changed, and it went up $15 a month, right? And you know now I pay way more than the mortgage, but I didn't never open my mail.
Right.
So for the longest, the people were sending me things saying you owe $15 more. So it's 6-7 months went down. I'm like, why is my credit score going down?
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I was like, damn, I didn't pay the 15. But anyway, we cleaned it up. But anyway, so now I pay way more than what the mortgage is automatically because they always tell you pay your stuff automatically.
Right.
So then, you know, it's already done.
Yeah.
That's the biggest slip up I probably had.
Okay. Number 2, charge off, right? So charge off, you know, you borrow money from the bank, you don't pay the bank back, the bank charges it off. But for us inside the vault, a charge off is a mindset or people that you had to charge off during your journey.
I charge off a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm quick to charge you off. Charge your ass off. It might be a family member, a friend, or whatever. I don't do too many people because I think just like Damon do, if you're talking to the wrong person and they saying the wrong things, I think they say there's more than just the 5 people you're around that makes you who you are. It's the top 2 or 3 people. So you got to be very careful who you spend your time with.
Yeah.
So I'm very selective about my friends or who I spend time with. And when they start talking stuff, because words have so much power, you know what I'm saying? saying? And they speak something, they start saying different things. It's already like, okay, either you got the wrong mindset or you hating or something. I need to get the hell away from you. So I charge off a lot of people.
Yeah, love it. What's that? How about you? What type of mindset did you have to charge off, during your journey?
I mean, I guess the one I could think of is an A-list producer, music producer that we worked together, and I was learning all this stuff from him. I was excited. I was like, man, I'm gonna be your best student ever, and I think I was. But the thing is, he was always telling me things that weren't positive. I would work on a song all night long, wake up in the morning at 7 and say, boom, shoot it to him, email, hey man, what you think is? And he would crush me every time. Wow. And I took it to heart. I was like, dang, I guess this does suck, But then I would let other people listen, and they were like, dude, this is crazy. What? How did you make that? And so I realized, I think what it was for him, because he told me one day, he said, man, you haven't paid your dues, man. I've been doing this 15 years. I spent night and day. I slept in the studio. I lived in the studio. You a doctor, you're already financial, and you just come and you do. And I'm like, but I was like, hold on, man. I did put my time in. Last night, I didn't sleep at all, but an hour. But I didn't tell him that. Right. But I'm like, and so I had to realize I can't listen to him. We're cool, but I don't, because I couldn't move forward. I just decided I'm gonna charge it off, and like you said, and basically, I stopped listening. Yeah. And I just started listening to what I thought. Yeah. And I learned still, but and then people thought it was hot, so
Yeah, love it. Last one, trust account, right? Your trust account is where you put your precious assets to build your legacy, to move your wealth to the next level. Here inside the vault, what type of mindset or people that are in your trust account that help you, get to that next level?
My wife, for sure.
That was a trick question.
Nah, I mean, like.
Now you got it. I was gonna say.
For sure, man. Like, one.
Oh, come on, baby.
No, I'm being honest.
No, I'm saying.
Yeah, she is the investment. So, I know that if I give her what I'm making, she's going to make sure it gets divided for our children, for the rest of our family that we can help and stuff like that. So she is the investment, and that's really.
And that's all he needs is his wife. That's it. No, not a whole lot of people. He just need his woman. That's all.
Absolutely.
That's it.
I love it.
So that's his vault.
I love it.
Hey, one thing I wanted to say. Yeah. Big ups to you, man, because you didn't have to do this. You didn't have to talk to people. Yeah. Someone's going to listen to this and they're going to be moved.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just have at least the faith of a mustard seed to know that.
And it's different because a lot of people come out with all kind of mess. Like even like reality TV, it's a whole bunch of drama and a whole bunch of ignorance. Your show seems to be, and I don't know, but it seems like you're talking about positive things and trying to educate people. My concept has always been to say to motherfuckers so the ignorant niggas hit me and then bring them in and then give them some knowledge as we talk to them. So that's how I operate, but I love the platform that you have and you're doing a great job. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, I think for us, it's all about, displaying different types of people who have success. But what is the mindset, right? So when you think about inside the vault, we're going inside the most precious part. It is your mind, which is the vault. And I appreciate you guys, for what you do, because, when you look at our community, there are so many people doing some awesome things. But for whatever reasons, people only want to focus on the negative or the things that are entertaining, but not realizing that there's some power. There's some people who are making some major moves, right? Mergers and acquisitions, creating their own businesses and practices. Like, these are some major things that are happening in our community, and people need to know that this exists. And and the platform needs to show that, you don't have to, take off your clothes. You don't have to go crazy. Like, you can really use your brain, use the vault in order to build generational wealth. So thank you for everything you do. All right, so if somebody wanted to connect with y'all, if they wanted to, follow you online and get tapped into everything you're doing, where can they find you?
For me, you can call our office at 678-736-7680, Roswell Pain Specialist, or you can go to our website, thepainpros.com, ThePainpros.com. And that's pretty much.
He on social media as Dr. Damon Kimes, but that's me. So all y'all hoes that come in his DM, just understand them pictures that I'm responding to them, okay? So don't even do that. But you can find me at dr_heavenly on all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And my website for my office is smilesbydrheavenly.com and heavenlybeautyatl.com.
All right, there you have it, y'all. We about to close the vault. Another powerful episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Inside the Vault. You can follow me at I am Ash Cash. Thank you for tapping in, tuning in. Tell a friend to tell a friend. The greatest money mindset show on the planet, Inside the Vault with Ash Cash. I'll see you next time, same place, in God's will. Peace.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. You want Ash Cash, you can catch it right here in the vault.